are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite horror movies of the 2010s. This is a list that I had wanted to do for a long time. I was originally planning on doing it earlier this year, and I had gotten a job and was really busy working all the time and everything, and then I had found out I was going to be moving, and I wanted to wait till I got moved to do more videos and everything. That's why I haven't really been doing videos as much lately. But now that I'm moved and settled, I'm planning on going back to doing videos again and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with, this is the first movie I'm doing since I've moved, or movie list that I'm doing since I moved, and first video since then. So I'm going to go ahead and get started now. The 2010s had a lot of really good horror movies. I think, in fact, it might have even been the best decade for horror since the 80s. There just was a lot of really great movies. It was kind of hard to narrow it down to just 10. And I might even do an 11 through 20 video, maybe here before too long as well. But I just wanted to at least do my top 10. So starting out at number 10 is Halloween from 2018. This movie was just, it was a really great movie. Really good sequel to the original Halloween. And personally, I think it's the best one since the original Halloween and everything. I actually do love all of the Halloween movies, but I think this is the best sequel we've gotten to it. Jamie Lee Curtis was just absolutely amazing in this. The writing, James Jude Courtney as Michael was amazing. He was really creepy and did a really great job playing him. And it was cool getting to see Nick Castle back as him as well in a couple of scenes. And I just felt like this movie was really good. I know some people don't like it. It did have some humor that could have been better, but personally it didn't totally ruin the movie for me, and all in all I really did like Halloween 2018. I think it's a lot better than some of the other Halloween sequels that we got, especially like 5 and 6, and then Halloween Resurrection, of course. Those some of the worst movies in the franchise is definitely better than them, and I think it definitely ranks up with the best ones. So Halloween is number 10, and number 9 is The Witch. This is a movie that I did not want to see. I remember when it first came out, I had seen posters for it, and everyone had told me how bad it was. I'd also heard some good reviews for it, but I mean, this was really before I started getting into Facebook movie groups and stuff like that, and being more active in the horror community and seeing how beloved this movie actually really is. But like, people who watch only mainstream horror movies and stuff, they don't really get this movie. They didn't really like it and everything. But when I watched it, I was just blown away by it. I thought it was a really good movie. I thought the atmosphere was really good, and I love like the directing, and Robert Eggers did a really great job directing this movie. And I did like his movie The Lighthouse as well. I thought I'd give that a little shout out because I did like that movie as well, and I debated which one to put on here, but I did like The Witch a little bit more. Anya Taylor-Joy was really good in this movie, and I just really enjoy The Witch. So it's number 9, and number 8 is Terrifier. This is another one that I just absolutely loved. I know this is one that a lot of people either love it or hate it. No, I actually really do love it. It doesn't really have the best plot. It doesn't really have a full story or anything, but it's just entertaining. Art the Clown is a really great character. He's kind of creepy and stuff. He's also kind of funny, and he's just really really cool villain. I can't wait to see Terrifier 2. Hopefully, maybe this will start a franchise. I'd love to see more and everything. And so, Terrifier is number 8, and number 7 is It. I'm going to do a little bit of a cheat on here and just say It and It Chapter 2. Both of those, I think, are really, really good movies. And to me personally, if you put them together, they make one really good movie. I know a lot of people didn't like It Chapter 2 because they said it was overlong and everything. But as big as Stephen King's book is, I personally think that having 2 really long movies based on the one book really worked really well. And everything. They did leave out quite a bit of stuff that was in the book, but it's okay. I mean, you can't expect them to put everything in a movie. And I thought that this was a really really good adaptation. Both parts were really good, and the cast in here was really great. Especially in the first movie, the young cast was all of the kids were really really good in this one. Especially Finn Wolfhard, who really stole the show and everything. I really liked him in Stranger Things, and I thought he was really great in this. He was hilarious and everything. And then you get the adult versions, and Bill Hader replaces him and does an even better job. I think this is probably Bill Hader's best performance. He was amazing. Now, I'm mixed on Pennywise. I don't really hate him, but I don't love him either. I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for Tim Curry's Pennywise, so that kind of plays a factor into it. But I think that Bill Skarsgård was alright as Pennywise. I just really did love that movie, or both of those movies. I think they're both really, really good. Yeah, the CGI, and especially in the second one, is kind of bad, but besides that, there's really not much that I would really complain about. I think both movies are really good, and I'm looking forward to revisiting them many times over the next few decades, just like I did have with the original version, the original miniseries. So, I gotta say, both of those are really good movies, and it's a great duology. So, It Chapter 2 or number 7, and number 6 is Don't Breathe. This one was directed by Fede Alvarez, who also directed the Evil Dead remake, which I thought he did a really great job on. And this movie, I think, was even better. Kind of like with The Witch, it had a really, really good atmosphere to it. There's not like a whole bunch of brutal violence, although there are some pretty good violent scenes in the movie, don't get me wrong. It's not like really violent, but the atmosphere just makes up for it. It's really, really got this tense atmosphere, and Stephen Lang is playing this blind man who's protecting his house and everything from these kids who are robbing it. And at first you sympathize with him, and then there's a big twist in the movie, and it just has some really, really good twists and turns, and went into really unexpected directions and stuff. So Don't Breathe is number 6, and number 5 is Midsommar. This movie was directed by Ari Aster. I went to see it in the theater last year when it came out, and I went in here not knowing anything about it except that it was from Ari Aster, who had directed Hereditary, which is another one I'd like to give an honorable mention to. That didn't make this list because I did love Hereditary. I thought it was a really great movie. I just kind of like with The Witch and the next one on this list. These directors have each directed 2 movies so far, and I'm going with the ones that I liked a little bit more, and that's why it's on this list. Midsommar is just a really good movie. It doesn't have a lot of violence, but when it does, it is brutal as hell. Especially the one scene. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That kind of just comes out of nowhere when things really start taking a big turn. There's some really, really weird stuff that happens in the end of the movie, and I'd watch this movie with my friend who also happens to be my ex-girlfriend. We watched this movie together here a while back, and I had forgotten about that scene at the end of the movie, and it was just very, very awkward. But I still really enjoy this movie. I think it's one of the best movies of last year and one of the best horror movies of the decade. I don't think she liked it so much, but I did really enjoy this movie. So Midsommar is number 5, and number 4 is Us. Once again, like with Ari Aster and Robert Eggers, this was Jordan Peele's second movie, and I really had a tough time choosing between this one and Get Out, which I've only seen Get Out once, and I've rewatched Us a couple times since I saw it in the theaters, and I really do love Us. I think it's a really, really great movie. That another one where the atmosphere is really good, but this one also does have some really good violent scenes, and it has some really great performances, especially from Lupita Nyong'o. She was absolutely amazing in this movie, and I really felt she was robbed of Oscar nomination. She was just really, really great. I think that Jordan Peele did a really good job writing and directing it. I think it was a lot better than most people say it is. I know a lot of people were really disappointed, I guess, because of how much they liked to Get Out. They thought that, I guess, they had their hype up really high, and I'll admit my hype was really high on this movie, but I actually didn't feel disappointed in it. I actually felt really pleased with it, and felt like it really was the movie that I was hoping it would be, and everything. So Us is number 4, and number 3 is It Follows. This movie is kind of like with The Witch. I did not want to see this movie when it came out, and this one was more because thought that this was going to be one of those movies that was like The Conjuring, where it relied nothing on jump scares, and was just really kind of not very good. Because I'm not really a big fan of the Conjuring movies. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion. I'm going to be rewatching them here pretty soon and reviewing them, so maybe my thoughts on those could change, but as of right now, I'm not a huge fan of those, or movies that are like it, where they just rely so much on jump scares. And this movie does have jump scares, but it's done differently, if that makes sense. Like the jump scares are more effective. The atmosphere, once again, common theme that happens in all of the movies, a lot of the movies on this list. The atmosphere is just really, really eerie throughout the whole movie. There's a sense of dread from the very first shot of the movie. And the score is really amazing. This is easily one of the best horror movies I've seen of the decade, and it's definitely the best original horror movie, because I don't think this one was actually based on based on a book or anything like that. It was an original movie, and this one was just absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved It Follows. If you haven't seen it, I definitely would recommend it. And that's number 3. And number 2 is Let Me In. This is a really, really good vampire movie. And once again, the atmosphere in this movie is just really, really dreadful. It has this eerie setting and everything. And the cast in here is really great, especially Cody Smith-McPhee and Chloe Grace Moretz. Both of them are really amazing in this movie. Richard Jenkins is also really good in here. The only thing about the movie that I didn't like was some of the CGI kind of took me out of it a little bit, but for the most part, the movie was really, really good. Has some brutal kills, and this thing that happened at the end of the movie with these boys that finally get what was coming to them. Like, I did not expect them to go as far as they did with that move. With that, it was really shocking the first time I watched it, and I just really love this movie. I've read the book that it's based on too, and I forgot to say that I'm really glad the movie does not follow the book, because the book is really graphic and details about some things that happen that aren't in the movie that would have kind of probably ruined the movie, because it had been too much, not in it would have been stuff you wouldn't really want to watch. I don't know if the original version had any of that stuff in it, but I'm guessing it doesn't. The original version of Let the Right One In, which is actually, I think, set in Sweden, I think is where the book actually takes place and where the author's from and everything. This version was, since it was an American version, it was set in New Mexico and everything. I've heard the original version is amazing. I want to see the original version. I just haven't had a chance to yet, and eventually I will, and maybe once I do, maybe I can watch and review both of those. But I love Let Me In. I think it was an amazing movie, so it's number 2. And my number 1 favorite horror movie of the decade is Curse of Chucky. I know a lot of people would think I'm crazy for putting a direct-to-video movie on here, but anybody who knows me knows I am a huge fan of the Child's Play franchise, and after Seed of Chucky, this was a really great, refreshing return to form for the franchise. The cast in here was amazing, especially Fiona Dourif. She was awesome, and it was great getting Brad Dourif back, and we kind of get to learn a little bit of Chucky's history, which I thought was really great. It had some really good kills, and personally, I just felt this was a really good movie. It did have some bad CGI, mainly in the scene with some of the scenes with Chucky, like the doll was, instead of using a practical doll, they had him CGI, and personally, I think he actually looked creepier CGI than he did in has in any of the other movies and everything. I think it's just because it has that uncanny valley feel to it. Makes him look even creepier in a way. But I don't like it, though. I don't like the way he looks in CGI form, but besides that, I really don't have a lot to complain about this movie. Once again, the atmosphere in here is really good, and they have kind of has a little bit of a whodunit feel, even though you know Chucky's the one doing it. But there's a part where he poisons a plate of food. Everyone has their food set on the table and everything. He poisons one of the plates, and you don't know who's gonna eat it and everything. And the mystery of who's gonna eat it is really good and everything. And this is just a really great movie. So, Curse of Chucky is number 1. But let me know in the comments what your favorite horror movies of the decade are. There are quite a few left that I've wanted to see that might have made this list if I had got to see them. There's a lot that I just haven't had a chance to see yet. And who knows, maybe as I see them I might make more lists or whatever. But I am probably going to do a part 2 to this list where I rank numbers 11 through 20. I don't know when it'll be, but probably sometime before too long. And sometime in the next few days I'll be doing my top 10 worst horror movies of the decade, which was a really hard list to do, because like I said, this decade actually had a lot of really good ones, and I haven't seen a lot that I didn't like, because I try to avoid ones that I don't think I'm going to like and everything. So I might do it here pretty soon, or I might wait a while, maybe try to see a few more that I don't know if I'm going to like or not, and see if I can add some of them on there. But anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite horror movie of the last 10 years is, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if there's any movies you want me to review or rankings or anything you want me to do, let me know in the comments, or you can go to my page on Facebook, Ogreboy1992, and comment on any of the posts on there, or you can email me at ogreboy1992@gmail.com, and I'll try to get those videos done as quick as I can. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.